Hi, I'm Todd Thompson, President and CEO of the Greater Pensacola Chamber of Commerce, and I want to welcome you to our June virtual Gopher Club sponsored by Ascension Sacred Heart Hospital. I know it's been tough these last few months. We haven't been able to get together for these events and see each other and shake hands and hug, but I want you to know that your chamber team is here. We're working for you, and we want to keep you informed and up to date on the latest happenings with COVID-19, how our businesses are reopening, and what we can do to stay safe as we move forward in this process. We're going to continue working virtually as a chamber, but wanted to let you know that we're going to continue events like this to keep you informed, keep you up to date, and make sure that our sponsors and businesses have an outlet for their message to be heard. We're going to continue using social media, our email blasts, and those sorts of things to keep you up to date. As things reopen and we get more guidance from our health and government officials, we'll continue to look at events and see what we can do, but we want to make sure we do things in a safe manner, that we're doing the right things so we don't have any sort of spike or relapse, and make sure that we get our businesses up and running again full speed as soon as we possibly can. Just to keep you up to date on what's happening with the chamber, we are going to continue to work virtually. Most of our folks are working from home, but we're still out in the community doing what we can, and we want to make sure that our message is still getting out to you and that you're hearing from us. If you need to reach us, please do so. Any messages you can send to news@pensacolachamber.com. We see all of those. So, and if you're not signed up for our email blasts, also send your email address to news@pensacolachamber.com. We'll get those out to you. Hopefully we'll have some announcements in the coming weeks of things that will be happening. One thing I do want to announce is that our Total Resource Campaign, or TRC, is being ramped up again for 2020-21. I'm proud to announce that David Delleman with Cox Communications will be this year's TRC chairman. We're very excited to have David doing this. He's been a leader in our community and for our chamber, and I know he's going to do a great job with the TRC. If you were a TRC sponsor last year, be on the lookout. You'll be getting a letter from me that will be asking if you want to re-up your sponsorship from last year. For those that didn't participate in the TRC, we'll be starting this in the fall. Be on the lookout for updates and opportunities to engage and be a part of this year's TRC. We're very excited about it. It's going to be great, and we look forward to having you a part of it. Just to wrap up, we're very excited about today's program. Again, thank you to Ascension Sacred Heart for their sponsorship, and please enjoy our virtual Gopher Club.
Recording everything you say from now on will be on the record, and start whenever you're ready.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for letting me be here with you this morning. And first of all, happy Friday to everyone. First, I'd like to thank Todd and the Chamber for allowing me and Gulf Power to give a little presentation on Gulf Power and what Gulf Power is doing in the midst of the pandemic. And I'd also like to thank Todd and his team for the leadership the Chamber has provided through this critical time in our community. The Chamber has just done an outstanding job, and we're grateful to be a partner with the Chamber, and we're grateful for what Todd and his team are doing. So with that said, I'd like to move forward and just talk about Gulf Power and what we're doing in response to the pandemic. And most of this information I'll be speaking from today, you can find, if you want additional information, at our website, gulfpower.com/help. Again, that's gulfpower.com/help. Gulf Power has been very engaged and working very hard to help all of our customers during this pandemic. I think most people know that in May, we reduced the average electric bill by 40% to provide immediate assistance to our customer with a reduction in their electric bill, a very proactive step by the company. We understand just how disruptive this virus has been, and we remain committed to doing the right thing for our customers and the communities that we serve. So as our community begins to reopen, we will continue to implement suspend our disconnect policy through June. So right now we're not disconnecting customers for non-pay. We encourage our customers to call us, make payment arrangements, but right now as customers are trying to get back on their feet, we will not be disconnecting their service. I'd like to encourage all of our customers, especially our business customers, to explore all the resources that are available through the CARES Act. We will continue to help our customers with appropriate resources from federal, state, and local agencies, but please go out, take the time to educate yourself. We also would ask you to consider using the tips and tools that we have on our gulfpower.com/help website to help you manage your energy usage. And now I'd like to speak to energy usage, especially to our small businesses. There are several things that you can do, and hopefully you're already doing these things. But if your business is closed or reduced, we would ask you to consider doing things like avoid cooling underutilized spaces. There's no need to do that. If you're not in an area, go ahead and raise the thermostat up to 82 degrees. That's perfectly fine. That'll keep the humidity out of the air, but it won't allow the air conditioning to overwork, and thus will help lower your bill. Just keep in mind that raising settings may not be appropriate for all applications. For example, if you have food, candy, library, artworks, things that are temperature, humidity sensitive, you may want to have an alternative plans. Always use your shades and blinds to reduce direct heat from inside the room. Be sure to turn off or reduce outside air intake systems. Turn off or reduce exhaust air systems, and always check for local codes for allowable minimums. So your air conditioning is one of the main users of power in your business as well as your home. So anything you can do around that is going to help minimize your bill. Consider, if you're out of the office, unplugging equipment that's unnecessary. Turn water coolers off, break room equipment, you can turn that off. You can turn hot water heaters off, electric hot water heaters off if you're not using them. No need to heat water that no one's using. It's just causing your bill to increase. Turn off office equipment such as computers, printers, copy machines, or set them to the sleep mode. Anything to minimize that energy use. For places like the YMCAs that have pools and other pumps, we ask that you consider reducing your run time or turn the pump off altogether, or just keep it in the settings that you're circulating the water at a minimum. Refrigeration, here's another area in businesses that use an extreme amount of electricity. Consider consolidating or turning off unused refrigeration equipment. That is, if you can consolidate food and perishable items into one unit and turn another one off or turn it up, please do so. Lighting, turn off all lights if they're not needed, unless they're for safety or emergency use, and adjust and turn lights to a practical level in the parking lot. But you also want to remember, and in garages, that you want it safe enough to provide safety. Finally, we would encourage you to visit your business during the evening, to do a walk around, to take temperatures to see if you're cooling the air unnecessarily or you're overlighting the area. And just listen and look for ways to reduce unnecessary equipment operation. So if you just walk in and listen, you can hear motors that are running that may not be necessary. So those are things you can do to help minimize your usage at your business. And now that a lot of us are working at home like myself, some things you can do around your house that make common sense while you're working at home is, cool your home at 78 or higher with a thermostat fan switched to auto. Try 82 for warmer when you're away. So if you're gone, go ahead and raise that temperature to 82. That's what I do when I go out of town or I'm away for a while, and then in the afternoon I cool my house down, and then in the evening I cool it down a little further. But what I'm doing is I'm adjusting that thermostat all day long to try to minimize my bill. Something that's a big tip is to check and replace your AC filters often. As the filter becomes clogged, it makes the unit have to work harder to circulate fresh air through the system. Turn off your ceiling fan when you leave the room. That's just unnecessary. A lot of people leave them on all day, but again, anything that's turning, that's operating by an electric motor requires, an energy. Reduce your pool pump run time by 2 hours or more a day, and reduce the pool's heating cost. So that's probably not an issue as we're starting to warm up, but just remember your pool consumes a lot of power. Remember, just like at work, to close your shades and blinds and drapes to keep the sun's heat out and keep your home as cool as, that will allow you to keep your home cool. Your lights consume a lot of energy. Consider switching to LED light bulbs if you don't have them. They last 3 times as long as a CFL bulb, and they use a fraction of the power as a CFL bulb. Use dimmer switches inside to match your lighting levels to your needs. Turn off your electronics when not in use, your games, your TVs, and all these things. And heaven knows all of us have so many of those things. And then finally, as we do go back to work and start our businesses up, this doesn't apply to a lot of us, but for businesses that run a lot of motors and like industrial customers, they're very knowledgeable of this, but we charge customers a demand charge for those customers. And demand is how much power a customer is using at a 15-minute interval. And so what we encourage our customers to do is to sequence the way they bring their business back up. So you don't want to start the entire operation up at the same time. You don't want to throw a switch, because if you do that, everything's going to come on at once, which is going to cause, as we call it, that demand peak to go to the highest level, and you're billed on that. So what we encourage our customers to do is to slowly bring those motors up, to bring them up in a sequential order so that it comes up in a slower, methodical order. And this will reduce that peak, and that will save the customer a tremendous amount of money. Also, don't start up all of your HVAC equipment at the same time, much like I was saying. Just, let it come up 15 to 20 minutes apart. Turn off your water heaters and your refrigerated equipment until after these other motors have come up. So basically, as I've mentioned, if you're running these factories, if you're running these plants, you want to bring these things up in a sequential order, to slowly and methodically, to avoid that onset and that major peak. And you're going to save yourself a lot of money doing that. So finally, I'd just like to say, at Gulf Power, we're here to help. We remain focused to delivering affordable, reliable power to our customers who have counted on us. If you need help or have additional questions, please call one of our business experts at 877-655-4001. Again, it's 877-655-4001. And as Floridians, neighbors, friends, and family, we want you to know we are in this together. We hope you and your family stay safe during this difficult time. And thank you for everything you do, and thank you for being a customer to Gulf Power. So I'd like to answer a few frequently asked questions, or questions I think are on the minds of our customers and our partners. So question 1, is Gulf Power continuing to operate the same today as they were at the beginning of this pandemic? And the answer is absolutely yes. We have changed the way we do our business to ensure that our workers are safe, and everything for us evolves around safety and security first. So you will notice on our trucks, they now have signs that ask our customers while we're working for them to allow our workers to have social distancing, to remain 6 foot away from our equipment. We would ask you to do that anyway, just for the safety, because we're dealing around electricity and voltage. But our crews have continued to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. No change in our service to our customers, just in the way we provide our services. So another question is, what is Gulf Power doing in the community? Well, I'm very pleased and proud to be a part of Gulf Power, because Gulf Power, in my opinion, has stepped up during this pandemic. And first of all, for the United Way of Northwest Florida, they made a corporate gift of $250,000. And then we reached out to our business partners and challenged them, along with the United Way, to make a gift to the United Way so that those dollars could be used to help the workers, the displaced workers, the workers we consider the ALICE population, asset limited, to have the means that they need to get back on their feet and to get through this crisis. The last thing we wanted to see was these workers slip back into poverty. So Gulf Power stepped up and made that contribution. We made a $10,000 contribution to Feeding the Gulf Coast, and we challenged our employees to make contributions, which they did. The company recently made a tremendous gift to help customers pay their energy bills, and we have asked our employees again it's called Project Share, if they feel compelled that they can give to Project Share, which help the customers that need assistance pay their bills. So Gulf Power is alive and well in the community. We are actively engaged. Not only are we giving our treasures, but we're also giving our time and our resources to help. So that's what the Gulf Power is doing in the community.
Hi, I'm Kirk Waters with Landrum HR. I'm also an ambassador with the Greater Pensacola Chamber of Commerce. It's my honor to tell you that this quarter's Small Business of the Month is Riverside Wealth Advisors and Fenoy Butler. Fenoy is a great guy. He's a veteran. He served our country. He's a Rotarian. He serves our community. Fenoy, congratulations. This honor is well deserved.
Welcome back to our virtual Gopher Club, and now we're to the main portion of our program where we feature our sponsor, and we're very appreciative of our sponsor this month. Ascension Sacred Heart has been great. They've been on the front lines of this since the beginning, and want to introduce their president and CEO, Don Rudolph. Thank you so much for being here, taking a little time,
Sure.
and again, sponsoring this month's Gopher Club.
Absolutely. Happy to.
So you're relatively new to Pensacola.
I am.
And so tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to be here in Pensacola.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I love Pensacola. In fact, my parents are moving here soon.
That's great.
They're looking at a place in Navarre. They live over in the southern area of Florida, and they said once they knew I was here with the military community and my stepfather's military, they said we're coming your way, so
That's
get
great.
ready. But I moved here for this opportunity because I knew about Ascension Sacred Heart. Being with Ascension for 10 years, I've had experience in the Tennessee market and in the Connecticut market, and when this job opened up, I knew this is where I wanted to be. I knew a lot about the reputation here, the services that they provide,
Right.
and often look this way to see best practice. It's just I couldn't be more blessed, and I was so thankful to be given this opportunity.
So you've been here about 8 months.
Right, since October.
And you almost immediately,
Right.
we go into this new world. And as I mentioned, y'all have been on the front lines of this for a few months now.
Yes.
Talk about Ascension Sacred Heart's involvement and the things that you've done as testing was ramped up and as we
Right.
continue through this.
Yeah, happy to. And for those of you that know Sacred Heart, the Daughters of Charity, and they're our foundresses. They set the tone, really for what we do, and what they're known for is going out to the community, going into community to serve. And so I couldn't be more proud of the team here, particularly at Ascension Medical Group, as they set up mobile testing so quickly. Literally coming off a 5-day Joint Commission survey on Friday and setting up incident command on Monday. We were just over the weekend thinking about how we were going to respond to this, and leadership just leaned in. They had testing going early that week. And then in-house here at the hospital in our molecular lab, we had the capability to actually do testing. And so that was a blessing. Both of those efforts, I think, made a difference. Certainly, we stopped our elective surgeries right away as well in an effort to conserve our personal protective equipment we call PPE. The gowns we wear, our masks, shoe covers, all of that. I mean, we were really looking into something that we didn't know how bad it would get. And certainly coming off of the stories from the West Coast and the East Coast, we knew we needed to immediately learn what the best practices were and then get out there as much as we could. And the testing was amazing. Being able to do the testing in-house and having that capability, the talent, the people, and the equipment allowed us to open that up to the area hospitals so that we could all conserve personal protective equipment.
Right.
And that lessened the anxiety, and we were able to collaborate. And then knowing that thousands of people were being tested over the past 8 weeks. I mean, I think we've done 12,000 tests between inpatient, mobile site, ED, all the environments. And, just being able to respond to that rapidly, I think was a source of pride for us.
Right.
But also just, we wanted to be a part of solving this for this community. And so a lot of good work.
Yes. So where are we right now with testing? How can you get a test? What's that process like?
Well, our mobile site testing is still up and running, and I think the numbers on the screen, I can read it. I have it right here, so I don't get it wrong. 850-746-2684. And it started out, you had to be, there's lots of rules around the testing.
Right.
So, basically if you have a symptom and you think you need to have that testing, call that number. They can go through mobile site and get that done. It's by appointment. I know the Department of Health has brought in now resources that you can do community testing, and I think there's going to be an event. I should have that right on the tip of my tongue, but it's going to be downtown. So that's one way to get that done as well. And of course, we're testing all of our elective surgeries prior to their surgery.
Right.
And so you may be one of those persons that go through our airport site and get a COVID test just to ensure before you have surgery that you're not asymptomatic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned elective surgeries have been coming back. You're getting more in-office visit. But something I've heard the last few weeks is there's concern from the medical community that people are not taking care of some of their standard medical procedures and checkups and those sorts of things. Talk about that a little. Talk about safety precautions that y'all are taking as people come in for visits and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm happy to. I think everybody did a great job. They listened to the guidance that said stay home, self-isolate, and we pivoted and tried to get access to appointments during that, time of looking at what's going on in the community through virtual health. So our virtual health platform at getsacredheartcare.com was already stood up, but it just wasn't, used as often as we thought it should be. But this proved out to be a perfect opportunity for our providers and patients to get care through virtual health. Mm-hmm. So, now as we have ongoing testing is going on, we've learned more about what this pandemic is doing, not only locally but nationally. I would say, the CDC and OSHA all have guidelines, but I'll just say what we follow here is, hand washing. Hand washing is so important. I mean, if anything comes out of this, it's almost like the safety belts, when we were kids and they had the big campaign about wearing your seatbelt.
Right.
Wash your hands.
Right.
I hope our community does not lose that. Every time they use the gas pump, every time they touch a surface, they're washing their hands, they're using sanitizer. We have to stay vigilant, I think, on that. I mean, that's so important for surfaces. Mm-hmm. I think it's also important that businesses, have a safe and encourage people to stay home when they're sick. And we're Americans, we have strong work ethic, we work when we're sick, but we really need to think about that.
Right.
And access virtual care, it's 24/7 now. Find out what's going on before you come into work and maybe bring someone else into a viral space that you don't want to have happen.
Right.
I think businesses should also think about how, not to downplay collaboration, virtual meetings are great, but getting back to this is my workspace, this is my phone, this is kind of where I work in this area if I'm not working at home.
Right.
And then keeping those surfaces clean. So just maybe reviewing your general housekeeping policies. Our environmental scores have never been higher because we have been so focused on making sure everything is clean and non-cluttered and wiping down surfaces. So I think all those are just simple things, but really important things to do to stay safe at work and at home.
Right. So yeah, expand on that a little bit.
Yeah.
Businesses are opening back up. Hopefully, we'll be expanding that as things move along, and
Right.
if the testing stays on the levels we've been seeing. So talk about some of those strategies that businesses can employ so their employees feel safe, but also that their customers feel safe.
Right. Well, of course, masking. You know,
Right.
I would say, this is a standard ear loop mask. We have a universal masking policy here. We have a vulnerable population. We have patients that are coming in here, and the masks, really keep you safe from me, right? Although obviously there's a layer of protection if the virus is in the air, but making sure that the color side goes out. We're using this if it gets soiled. We replace it. Anytime I'm in public, I have this in my car. I put it on. I go into Publix. I do my thing. I come out of Publix. I take it off. But it's just something that I always have with me. I use it in Joe Patty's. I don't always see everybody in there, but when I go out in public, I just think it's important that this is my new accessory. This is what I wear.
Right.
And so here at the hospital, that's what we do. We have everyone that comes in. I see your sticker. We stickered you so that we knew. We ask you those screening questions. You're not our employee, but we want to know: have you have any new symptoms? Do you have a fever? And have some accountability, I think, for your health and what you're bringing into this space. Again, cleaning those surfaces. I think that's just really important. So, retail space, think of all the people that touch the grocery carts. Before, they always had those cleaning wipes.
Right.
But did you use them?
Right.
I use them every time now, and they're washing them down. And I think that added sign of knowing that it's important to the business that they have somebody right there and you can see them washing those carts down gives me confidence.
Right.
So, I know there's so many different types of business owners out there, but, what would install confidence in your customers that, you're following these guidelines?
No, absolutely. So, and that's one of the things we've been trying to emphasize in the chamber as well is, as a business, be safe, institute these guidelines. So, we don't have any issues and, people will feel confident coming back to work and coming in to shop.
And I would say with confidence, we get people that come up to our screening stations and they're like, I don't want to wear a mask. And we're like, well, we need you to wear a mask. We explain why, and we go through our talking points and why it's important, and we'd appreciate it. But if it's not mandatory that you come in here, and so I think how you want to handle those talking points and customer service scripting with your employees is always a good idea to go back over, why it's important and what you're trying to achieve. And I think most people get on board.
Right. Yeah, and I think our the numbers show that our community's done well, and
yes.
But we need to continue. We need to make
it's
sure
still
we
out
keep
there.
it going.
We still have patients in the hospital. We get new cases. You can see on the State Department of Health website, which is very well done. It actually shows surveillance metrics, so that we monitor as people come into our ED. Are they exhibiting these symptoms? And they are declining, but they're still there.
Right.
And so, just like we call it universal precautions, for the flu, for those type of things, we will be living with this for some time to come.
Right. So got to stay vigilant and stay on top of it.
Right.
So, as we talked about earlier, you've been here 8 months.
Right.
This is not what you expected to be doing at this point in your tenure here.
I know. I was thinking I'd get a hurricane before I get that global health pandemic. So, didn't
Knock on
expect
wood.
this one. Yeah. I know. Oh, yeah. I better do that. Thank you.
But I know you have some goals and vision for the future for Ascension Sacred Heart. Talk about that a little bit as we move forward into the future.
Oh, thank you. Certainly coming in to this incredible organization, there were plans that have been laid, right? We don't just pivot. We look at it year over year and how can we continue to invest in the community? We've been over here 100 years. We're going to be here through world wars and the Spanish flu, actually, the daughters were really involved in that. And, just looking through our history, we weather these things. And so we have to keep pressing on and pivoting to meet the needs of the community. So we're excited. Our ambulatory playbook is well developed. I think you've seen over the past few years us open up offices in Perdido, Gulf Breeze, at Tiger Point. And so we'll continue to expand out so that we can get healthcare to people and make it accessible and have a great experience and still be under the Sacred Heart expectations. So our view is to fully open up the summit. That'll be our first project that will open up here just down the road.
Okay.
It'll be state of the art. It's gorgeous. We opened up our rehab facility right down the road here right before COVID.
Okay.
And we had to postpone our grand opening, but it's gorgeous.
Right.
And when I think about work comp and occupational health and getting back to work, I mean, it's a great facility with very talented people. And to keep care here in Pensacola, we don't want to lose anyone far away.
Right.
We don't do heart transplants, okay? We're not going to do that anytime soon. But we do a lot. We do kidney transplants, and we want to be that called tertiary care provider, meaning, you pass other hospitals to get to us. That's the best way to explain tertiary care, like our children's hospital. People drive to get care here, and we want people of Pensacola and the region to stay here.
Mm-hmm.
So we're opening up 2 freestanding EDs. One will be this fall up on 9 Mile.
Okay.
So that will be complementary to our Milestone
Mm-hmm.
Health Center that we just opened.
Right.
And then we'll have a whole new footprint in Navarre, which I'm very happy for my parents,
Right.
as I
It's
mentioned.
perfect.
In fact, I told my mom, we're just doing that just for you, Mom. So you have a medical office building right there and a freestanding ED. But no, that was well in the works. And so we're going to open that up just after the first of the year.
Awesome.
And so we have still plans on the drawing board to continually evolve this campus to be accessible, user-friendly, provider-centric, and beautiful. I mean, this is one of the most beautiful hospital campuses I've ever been on. And so we'll continue to work on those plans.
That's great.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. Continued expansion and providing quality health care for our community.
Mm-hmm. And we also, I don't know if many people know this, but we're a learning environment. I mean, we have a ton of students, and it'll be interesting to see as clinicals resume, how that works for our medical students, our nursing students, our advanced practice students, our respiratory students, our residents, our physicians. We're a learning environment, so we continue to work with those partners to make sure we're training up the best.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So that's all the questions I have, but any messages or anything else you want to share as we wrap up?
Well, I just have to say, I was always proud to say I was from Nashville. I thought they were the most generous community, and now I have to push them aside and say, I am so thrilled to be here. I mean, the downtown is vibrant. Everyone is so genuine and welcoming. We've done collaborations with city government, with the mayor's office, with the county commissioners. They were all collaborative. They all want the best for this community. I feel just so blessed to be here. And of course, it's just a gem, environmental. I mean, it's beautiful weather, beautiful people. But I would just want to say thank you. Thanks to everyone in the Pensacola community that, welcomed me here, and I'll be here for some time to come.
Well, great. Well,
Yeah.
thank you again to Ascension Sacred Heart for hosting this month's Gopher Club. Appreciate everything that Dawn, you and your team are doing for the community, keeping us safe, keeping
to
us
do it.
informed, and thank you again for sponsoring, and look forward to seeing you again soon.
I hope so. That'd be great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Todd.
Good morning, everyone. I am pleased to recognize our businesses that are celebrating anniversaries with the Chamber of Commerce this morning. And first of all, 45 years, we'd like to recognize WEAR TV3 Sinclair Broadcast Group. We are recognizing the Santa Rosa Island Authority and the Art Gateway, all 3 of those celebrating 45 years. Celebrating 30 years, we have Boyette's Vacuum Pumping, and we have Escambia County Housing Finance Authority and Quayside Art Gallery. Celebrating 25 years, we have the Fairfield Inn in Pensacola, and 20 years, we have Express Oil Change and 2 Men in a Truck. Again, congratulations to all of these businesses celebrating their membership with the Greater Pensacola Chamber of Commerce. We really appreciate all of our members, but especially those who have been with us for such a long time. So thanks again, and congratulations to all. Have a great day.
As we wrap up June's virtual Gopher Club, I want to say a special thanks to our sponsor, Ascension Sacred Heart. I also want to thank our chamber staff, who's done a phenomenal job during this time, working remotely, but still keeping you up to date on all of our events, all of the activities that have been going on, and making sure that we have a strong business community as we move out of this. As we close, I'd like to present a video that we've put together that shows that we are still Chamber strong and Pensacola strong. Thank you. Have a great weekend.